Hi, John T.
Hi, Gabby. How are you?
I'm well, and you?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a beautiful, warm day, mostly sunny in Johannesburg.
Yeah, pretty chilly here in Greyton, but hopefully it'll warm up in time for our workshop.
I hope so. I got to do some yoga outside by the pool. I even had a swim.
Oh, cool. Too cold here for that.
It was delicious.
So, John T., you're coming to Greyton at the end of August to run a women's weekend, and I'm very excited about that. I'm really looking forward to doing some work with you. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the workshop. What I find happens when I'm telling people about the workshop to the best of my ability is that there are a couple of standard responses that I get.
Yeah.
And the first response is, oh my God, are we all going to be sitting in a room masturbating together? And the second response is, oh my God, am I going to have to look at my yoni in a mirror? And then I usually fall over laughing and tell them no, and trying to explain, well, you could if you wanted to, and that would be a cool process on its own, but not likely to happen in this workshop. So would you like to give us a bit of an overview of the workshop, its theme maybe, and how you go about running a workshop like this?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And thank you for helping put this together. You know, we've been talking about it for a while, you and I. And yeah, I am so excited to be coming to Greyton to share this, and I'm really grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I doubt that there is not going to be any nudity on this workshop. So unless anybody absolutely really wants to look at their yoni in a mirror, they're not going to be doing that. Which is a really powerful and really deep practice, but it needs to be in a context with an intention and a purpose.
Absolutely.
So it's a big part of the healing journey, but it's not part of this retreat. Neither is sitting in a room in a circle with a whole lot of other people masturbating, because again, that is a really beautiful and really powerful, it's an incredibly powerful experience.
Yeah.
Again, there's a context to that, and this is not the context. So everybody can take a breath and relax.
And relax, yes.
And then we can have some fun.
Yes.
So the title of the workshop is Your Pleasure Self. And it's really about the fact that for so many of us, men and women, but our focus for this weekend is women, that so many women are disconnected from their sexuality, from their pleasure, from the possibilities of pleasure. That very often it happens because of someone else, which means so often we have sex for someone else, not totally for ourselves. Sex is very goal-oriented, which means it's only about an orgasm. And as orgasms are pleasurable, but orgasm and pleasure are not really the same thing. And our pleasure self is a very deep part of who we are that's connected to all that we are. So it's not just about our genitals, it's not just about yonis, and it's not just about sex. It's about the fullness of who we are in life and in the world. And the more we're in pleasure in that space, the more we can actually be in pleasure in a sexual and a sensual sense. So this is very much about the fullness of pleasure, about connecting with yourself as a woman. We are going to look at, and this is the framework that I work in, is the patterns and the conditioning that we live with. How much of what we do is unconscious, subconscious? How much of what we do is because we've been patterned and conditioned to do so? How much of what we do is because of beliefs that we've taken on? And how much this keeps us from our true, authentic, beautiful, powerful self. So that's kind of the framework of this. So then we're going to look a little bit at the energy of the goddess, which is around so much at the moment. There's so much writing about the energy of the goddess. And a lot of what's out there and a lot of what's kind of given to us in a lot of circles is this really beautiful, fluffy, fairy dust, unicorn, rainbow kind of And I don't want to put cacao ceremonies down, but kind of cacao ceremony goddess, you know? And yes, that's an element of the goddess, but the real goddess is incredibly powerful. The real goddess has the energy of anger, has the energy of destruction, of creation, of absolute rage, of incredible earth and fire power. So we're going to look a little bit of actually what the goddess is.
Great.
We're going to do some really deep and honest anatomy learning that is not about being nude, but it's about really talking and showing with some diagrams and some models all of the pleasure spots of your yoni, what they are, where they are. How do you find them? How do you wake them up? What do you do when you find them? And this is really important. Why, when you spend hours looking for your G-spot, why can't you find it?
Yeah.
Because it's there. So we're going to talk about the blockages that prevent that happening. We're going to do things that involve a lot of the body because it's a very embodied workshop.
Yeah.
So we are going to breathe, and we are going to dance, and we are going to make sounds, and we are going to touch, but not quite in the way that people think we're going to touch. And you're going to learn to connect with yourself in a really deep and beautiful way that opens a door of healing, of connection, of intimacy, and a door of possibility.
Oh, it sounds wonderful, Jonty. I can't wait.
And that's kind of a nutshell of the weekend in a way. Part of it is that as much as I have a program, and I have a program that has worked quite successfully, but I've also learned something over time that we come to the space as a shared experience. And the shared experience means that it's something that we kind of co-create that emerges from you and from me. That it's very much that there are times where, regardless of what might be on a program, that what comes up and what emerges is what we're going to follow. So it's really a space for you to bring questions, to bring your curiosity, to bring the things that that interest you, that worry you.
In that safe space.
Yeah, and let's look at exploring them and see. It's very much, as I said, this idea of a co-created space instead of just presenting kind of a program. But so much of it is a space of what emerges is where we'll go.
That sounds amazing. And I think your concept of coming with curiosity is for me key to this workshop, is come with curiosity, come with openness, come with questions. And for me also talks about a couple of responses I've had from women who say to me, oh no, my sex life is perfect, thanks, I don't need this workshop. And that's interesting too, because I think we can always have more pleasure. We can always learn more about ourselves.
Absolutely. And, you know, when people say that, it's an absolute fabulous thing to hear. And sometimes that really does come from a space that actually that's not quite the case.
I did wonder about that.
It's kind of it's a defense in a way. And, you know, everybody does what they do, and really there's no judgment on anyone, and it's fabulous. But this is about so much more than just having sex.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I've been teaching in the field of conscious sexuality for over 20 years. And I don't know that there's such a thing as a perfect sex life, firstly. Secondly, after having explored so much, I am still learning and discovering more. That's the beauty, and that's the power.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's so rare that we actually have a forum that's really honest, that's really open, that's really non-judgmental to ask the questions that we have.
Yes, and
bring any question you have.
Yeah, these groups always amaze me with the connection and the authenticity that people bring to them.
And that's so much the power of a workshop and the power of a retreat. And, I wrote something in my newsletter a little while ago that a retreat is very much like a pilgrimage.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you live in Greyton, and even if you're going to kind of just walk a couple of blocks to your studio, it's still very much this, it's a pilgrimage, because we're going into ourselves, we're going with an intention. And along the way, we get to meet others on a similar journey whose intention might be the same, it might be different. But in that sharing, something so magical happens.
Yes, and we get to meet ourselves, don't we?
That's it. And that's the pilgrimage. It's the pilgrimage into ourselves, to our bodies, to our hearts, to our minds.
So beautiful. Well, Auntie, I'm so looking forward to having you here. And I hope this video will inspire others to join in. We still have a few places left.
We do. Thank you. And you know what I'd really appreciate, if you feel comfortable, is because you and I have shared some time and experience together on a journey. Yeah. If you feel comfortable to share a little bit of what you have got from this journey. What's changed for you, what you've learned, realized.
Yeah, I think for me, that saying that this work has nothing to do with sex and everything to do with sex, or sexuality, is so true. I'm an artist, so I work very much with the creative energy, and doing this work has freed up so much of that. Besides from meeting like-minded people and really learning to connect with my heart and discover what it is that I want, and work with my own energy, it's opened up a whole world for me of pleasure, and as an artist, pleasure in the smallest things. So pleasure in walking my dogs in the morning and seeing 75 different greens in front of me, or that tiny little flower. So it's taking those moments just to pause and connect and to feel pleasure. It's those small moments of pleasure that come together to make an amazing experience and a wonderful way of living, a wonderful process. And then, of course, to connect with those parts of me that are angry, are grieving, are frustrated, and to learn to understand them and to learn to work with them, and to learn to be okay with all of that, and that everything matters and nothing matters in the same way. That the space that we work in, that you are so very skilled at holding in such a safe and contained way. I've only worked with women as therapists or as counselors. So for me to step into space with you and deal with the masculine was a very big step for me. And it really helped me, and it's really started this whole healing path, that the space you create is so safe. And that's given me a container to feel safe myself and to do the work that I want to do, which is an amazing journey. It's exciting and it's challenging and it's beautiful, and sometimes it's dark and I have a million questions and I keep sending you WhatsApp to say, Jonty, so what about this? And then you answer me or we have a conversation, and it's a lifelong learning and it's a lifelong journey, and I'm really grateful to be doing this work, and I wish for every woman, every person, to be able to connect with themselves and with others in this way.
Thank you. Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's been and is such a beautiful journey to share with you. And, so much of what you said there, Gabby, is very much about awareness. And that's really what it is. It's a path of awareness, a path of awakening ourselves and awakening to who we are, with love and with pleasure and with celebration. I'm just so looking forward to this, and again, grateful to you for this. Thank you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure.
So what I'm
going to have fun.
Absolutely. Oh, yes, we are going to have fun, because there's some brand new practices that I have been developing for this that I think, and you and I have spoken about them.
Yes.
And I think they are really amazing and exciting.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the booking details underneath this.
Great.
And yes, I look forward to sharing with you and with everybody. And any questions
Wonderful.
that you have, please contact us, me or Gabby. And we're just so looking forward to being with you.
We are. Thank you, Jonty.